Welcome to a look at the Electronic Performance Development Program System, commonly known on campus as ePDP. In this video, we'll cover the self-assessment phase of the ePDP, which is completed by the staff member. You can begin by visiting the Human Resources website at gvsu.edu/HRO. And you can get to the ePDP system in a few different ways. There is a link on our main page right here. There's also a navigation item under Forms, ePDP, or you can go directly to the page by simply adding ePDP at the end of the HR website. Take a minute to check out what's available on this page. There's a lot of helpful information, FAQs, timeline and process flowchart, SMART goals, how to write them, and additional training material is particularly helpful. You can log in from on campus or off campus. When you log in from off campus, you probably need to connect to the VPN network first, particularly if you have a Windows 7 or older machine, and instructions you can see are provided for you here. I'm going to log in on campus, and actually I've logged myself into a test system already, and I'm going to provide you a demo of a staff member called Sam Staff. Sam has already completed his annual plan and his annual plan approval, so he is currently in the process of evaluating himself. Once Sam is logged into the assessment, he will see an overview screen that reminds you of some important information about this phase of the assessment. Once Sam has read it, he simply clicks Continue. I'll take a moment to go over some of the navigation on this assessment. It will be consistent throughout all the phases of the ePDP. There's a status bar across the top that will remind you what phase of the ePDP you're completing. And since Sam is doing his self-assessment, that stage is currently highlighted in green. There are 4 tabs that will be consistent throughout this ePDP: job responsibilities, goals, competencies, and professional development. There are some parentheses with numbers in them on these tabs. This tells you how much you have completed and what you have left to complete on each tab. So for example, on job responsibilities, he has rated and commented on 0 of 2 of his job responsibilities. There are overall notes and documents that can be added to the system at any time during any phase of the assessment. These do not necessarily tie to a particular job responsibility or goal. They are just overall notes. You can add them in here and you can share them with your supervisor or not. They can be private just for you. Same with documents. You can choose to add a file, share it with your supervisor or not, and give yourself a description of the file, then upload it. Also on this page, notice that there are frequently asked questions and information, and there's a dashboard. You can access your ePDP history from the dashboard at any time. If you don't finish your self-assessment in one sitting, that's perfectly fine. You can save your work and get back into the system to complete it later. I'll start with the first tab, which is job responsibilities. You'll notice my first job responsibility, or Sam's, is proofread and correct marketing materials for the marketing staff. A rating is required at this stage. However, a comment is not required. It is strongly encouraged. It's an opportunity for Sam to let his supervisor know what he's been doing in this particular job responsibility. The second job responsibility Sam has is manage processing, placement, and tracking of temporary staff. Again, a rating is required and a comment is strongly encouraged. Remember to save your responses after you've completed them. Once you've completed them and saved them, you'll notice there's a check mark next to them that indicates the system properly saved your responses. There are a couple other navigation and icons I'd like to point out on this page. There is a notepad icon next to a specific job responsibility and also a flash drive. This differs a little bit from the notes and documents in the left-hand navigation menu. These are overall notes and documents, and the ones next to the specific job responsibility would be notes or files that directly relate to that job responsibility. You will notice that there is no trash can icon. There was a trash can icon in an earlier stage of the ePDP. It is not intended to be there. If you have a job responsibility that's become obsolete since it was entered in your annual plan, there is a job rating that says inactive, no longer valid, and does not require a rating. This would be the appropriate job rating to select if your job responsibility has become obsolete. You will notice that now Sam has completed 2 of 2 in his job responsibilities area. I'll move on to the Goals tab. The Goals tab operates in the same manner as the Job Responsibilities tab, but you'll notice there are different ratings that are more applicable to goals. Again, a rating is required and comments are optional but encouraged. This is an opportunity to provide documentation and information to your supervisor about how you completed your goals. You will notice that now 3 of 3 are completed on the Goals tab. The Competencies tab operates differently than the first 2 tabs. You're not able to rate or comment on this main page. You start by selecting a link, for example, University Values, which will take you to a Competency Detail tab, and this is where you will provide your ratings and comments. This is an opportunity for you to let your supervisor know why you've given yourself the rating that you have under this particular competency. When you're done completing your comments on a competency, simply select Save and Next, and you will be taken to the next competency to rate yourself in that area. Now that Sam has completed filling in each competency, you will notice that 8 of 8 are completed. And there is a check mark next to each competency on the main page, indicating that these competencies have been rated appropriately. The next tab is the Professional Development tab. This also operates a little bit differently than the other tabs. The Professional Development Plan will be part of your assessment through the discussion document, but it will not be included in your final assessment document. This form is simply intended as a way to facilitate communication between you and your supervisor, but there are no ratings required. Comments are required as a communication tool. The first section is just a reminder of what you indicated on your overall plans during the annual planning phase of the ePDP. There is nothing for you to complete in this first section during the self-assessment phase. However, the second section is where you indicated the steps that you would take to reach your overall plans, and a comment is required in order to complete your assessment. When you're done, be sure to save your responses. Once you've successfully completed all 4 of your tabs, you'll see this red box appear that indicates you can complete your self-assessment and send it to your supervisor at this time. We strongly encourage you to review your self-assessment before you send it to your supervisor, as once you do so, your supervisor will have immediate access to this assessment online. If you're ready and you've reviewed everything and it looks good to you, simply click this red button. The system will verify that, in fact, yes, you do want to send it to your supervisor, and if you're ready, just say yes. You'll receive a congratulatory page indicating you've completed your self-assessment. Your supervisor will automatically get an email from the system letting them know that your self-assessment is done, and they will work on the supervisor assessment next. When your supervisor has completed their assessment of your work, you will get an email letting you know that your assessment has been done by your supervisor, and the 2 of you will meet to discuss your assessments. Please review the timeline and process flow chart and any additional training materials for the next phases of the ePDP. As always, if you have questions about the ePDP process, we're happy to help. Please visit our website, email us at hro@gvsu.edu, or call us at 331-2215.